Hello, Dan here. This is day 28 of the ENFP Reboot. It is a sunny-ish day in Spain here, and I have a feeling these birds are going to be way too loud, so maybe I will actually film this one inside here. It's crazy to think it's 28 days in here. There's so much more I want to talk about, so much more we can get into. It's almost as if I should continue making videos and podcasts after the end of April. Of course, that is the plan. Part of this reboot was to help regain that momentum and figure out the systems and best way to film video and all that stuff on my end. So of course there is more coming. I would actually love to hear from you in the comments. Don't worry, the video isn't over, but in the comments about topics you'd love to hear about, frequency. I think that every day is probably not long-term possible for me, although if every single one of you says we want a video every day and we will watch them, then I may find a way to do it. But definitely going to be doing multiple videos a week, and we'll set a schedule for that. So there will be an announcement and you'll know the day and time that you are able to tune in and catch new videos every week. So yeah, love to hear though your feedback in the comments in terms of how this experience has been for you with daily videos and what your advice would be to me to keep going in the best way. Now, I thought today maybe I would share a bit of a framework. It's a bit summarizing some of the things that we've discussed over this month. Not a perfect framework necessarily. There is a perfect framework that I am putting together and we'll be sharing as well at some point. But it's a simple way to think about things. I think simplifying is one of the best things we can do as ENFPs. So step one, use your talents, your strengths, your gifts. Maybe gifts is the best term to use. So number one is use your gifts as much as you can with how you spend your time. Number two is to create things that give lasting value or assets. If you've done my free freelancer business training program, I'm all about making assets. Basically, don't do things every day that you need to keep doing that don't provide you any long-term value. Aside from the fact that I don't really think it makes sense to support one of the most evil regimes and dictatorships in the history of humanity, another reason that I'm not on TikTok is that to be a creator there means you're producing every day, multiple times a day. Instagram is similar if you really want to be a big influencer there. No, not interested. I don't care if I would make $1 million a year being on TikTok. I have zero interest in creating a business that requires me to produce multiple times a day to feed some algorithm, and the minute I stop, I'm irrelevant. That's horrible. One of the reasons I write books is because you do it once and then it's done, and then you receive value every day for the rest of your life. You give value as well, which is important. One of the things I like about YouTube is, of course, when you drop off on creating videos, the algorithm doesn't love you. But to this day, some of my most popular videos and most views on a monthly basis are videos that I created years ago. YouTube does not expect you to be some obsessive psychopath who produces new content every single day and doesn't have a real life. I think this is very important for ENFPs for so many reasons. Number one, we get distracted, we get sidetracked, we have good days, we have bad days, etc. If you build your life and your business around needing to always be on, no, recipe for disaster. Number two, we might want to change directions. I'm pretty sure I found my calling here and love working with you guys and have no plans to change. Yet, it wouldn't shock me if 5 years from now I was living on an island somewhere writing poetry. Who knows what the future has in store? And I think the greatest gift we can give ourselves is the ability to change what we do in the future without losing all that we have built in the past. And so if you build something with whatever you do, and I'm speaking with more business and income references here, but honestly, you can apply this to relationships, to family, to many things. Is if you build in a way where what you spend your gifts on is always going to create value for people, and then you decide to change things, you don't lose everything, right? You don't just, if you're like a TikTok creator and you stop like that, you're done. I mean, maybe you can sell your account, but you're not going to get very much money if you're the main creator, and then you're not going to be there anymore. So you're done. You haven't really built anything, right? But if you write a profound book, you spend 2 years of your life on that, and then it's out there and it's done, you can go on and do whatever. People aren't like, I'm not going to buy this guy's book because he's not posting on Instagram every day. Some of the best books, some of the most popular books are decades, if not centuries old. So really thinking that way. And you might say, Dan, okay, how would you apply this to relationships? Well, let me give you an example. I am not the text with people every day. I do text most of my friends and family more than they text me, as you might be not surprised. But what about creating really strong experiences with people? So I've talked about this before, where people ask, when's the last time you visited Canada? And it's usually a bit longer than they would think. And one of the things is that I would much rather create experiences with individual family members and close friends than go visit and do the same old stuff. If I go back home and I visit my mom, we kind of sit around, she makes some food, we talk, we go for a walk in the old town. That's it. Or like what happened, 16 months ago, my mom comes over to Europe. We travel through Serbia and Romania together. She spends Christmas with me in Prague, and we actually create memories. We have an amazing experience. So in less time, I would argue our relationship deepens much more than being in the same habitual patterns and the consistent ways of being. So if you are someone like myself who's traveling a lot, but also really values your friendships, what I try to do is give a lot of value to my friends and create great experiences for people when I am there. So when I'm in Prague, I host barbecues in the summer. I have this amazing view of the fireworks from my balconies in New Year's. So I host a New Year's party. I introduce people to one another. So a lot of my friends are friends with one another through me. And a lot of that is conscious, or at least it's something I did unconsciously, and then I've realized that I was doing it and have become aware and try to repeat it, is like be valuable to my friends, create experiences for them, do great things together, take trips together, do new things, etc. And that's a way to give a lot of value when I am present, when I am able to do it. And then when I'm not, they're not like, forget Dan, block that guy, delete his number, right? And so I think you can really apply this in a lot of things. So number one, use your gifts. So the examples even in relationships there is bringing people together, knowing interesting, cool people who will like each other is one of my gifts. Throwing parties, organizing things, making experiences, right? So use your gifts, create lasting assets, or focus on things that will give lasting value and allow you to receive lasting value. And the third part is take it one day at a time. As ENFPs, we can get caught up in our heads. We can get stressed. You've heard me say it a billion times, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. We overthink things and we get so much into the future, and then we don't really do what we should just do. And then if we're not making progress on the things we should do, we question our strategy and our process, and then we rework that. But the real problem was not the strategy or the process. It was that we weren't following it and just doing the thing we needed to do. Sort of like if you go to the gym and you have a whole routine someone wrote for you, or you wrote for yourself, and then you start looking at all the equipment and all the people, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, should I be doing this? Do I want to lift and we've all done this maybe on like leg day or back day when you're like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, and you talk yourself out of it. It's like, should I do that exercise? No, I won't do that. Spend an hour at the gym rewriting your routine, and then you leave without lifting any weights. And then a month later, you're like, yeah, I don't think this trainer knows what he's doing. I mean, his routine's not getting me any results. I go to the gym 4 days a week. I don't actually do any of the things I'm supposed to do. I just rewrite the routines, but still I'm going, right? That, it sounds funny, but that has been me many times in the past, working on businesses or creative projects where I wasted so much time thinking about the thing and rethinking about the thing and not actually doing the thing, and then questioning the destiny, the outcome of it, when the truth is I just needed to follow the plan. And so what really helps me is that saying slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And sometimes just quieting the mind and reminding myself, like, one foot after the other. Today, this is all you need to do. Just do this one thing, do it well, allow yourself to be present, to get in the flow, and not be distracted during this time. So part of being in the flow, in the moment, working on one thing at a time, is also, of course, eliminating distractions. Those three things: use your talents, create lasting value for people, and take it one step at a time. And of course, focusing that time on lasting value. Those three things have probably been the biggest game changers in my life, and at the same time are things that I really am going to tattoo on my forearm soon, because it's easy to fall out of those patterns and forget that from time to time as well. Day 29 of the ENFP Reboot is tomorrow. Wow. Okay, so a couple things towards the end here. There will also be at least a few more videos, daily videos, after the 30th of April. So some wrap up, some other things, some announcements. There is going to be the celebration call that I have promised. So we're going to get a link up where you can put in your name and email if you've been following along for part or all of the ENFP Reboot. And you'll go there, and then we'll send you a link to a Zoom call, like the date and time of the Zoom call. And we'll all be on, we'll do some celebrations. Maybe I'll share some extra insights, funny stories, this sort of thing. We'll have a talk. We'll do some breakout rooms as well. So if there's a lot of people there, you'll have a chance to go into smaller rooms as well and talk to maybe 5 other ENFPs from around the world and get to know them too. So you'll see that announced on these videos, like with that link, very soon, probably tomorrow, the 29th at the latest. And yeah, I think that's really it. So in the comments, aside from any thoughts you have on this particular video, which I always love to read, and as I've told you, I read all the comments now. I don't always respond to the really long ones because it would take me so long to really give a well thought out response, but I love seeing those as well. Aside from all that, in the comments, let me know what would be great for you in terms of ongoing video posting and what your experience has been like with these daily videos. And that, I will see you soon. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.